What's up everyone, Full is here with a new devlog. In this devlog I'm going to talk about the Divine Trait, which is one of the new traits that are going to be part of the new Dragon Ball Terraria update. So let's get right into it. First off, the Divine Trait is one of the few traits that have their own unique base on aura. In this case, it's purple and black, as you can see. To the right I'm going to display the reference we used to get such colors. Next up we have the transformations. The Divine Trait actually follows most of the mainline transformations up until Super Saiyan God. Afterwards you get Super Saiyan Rose, and after Super Saiyan Rose you get the Barrier of Light technique. The design is not final yet because we don't have the aura done quite yet, but I'll show you what it's supposed to look like to the right. So let's get into the perks. The first perk, as you can see, says God Form's drain reduced by 30%, which means if you transform, your ki drains, and while being in God form, such as Super Saiyan God and those above it, you get a reduced amount of drain. So the second perk is the Divine Zenkai, which means you get a temporary boost to damage and defense by 20% whenever you healed yourself over 50% HP, which means if you're below 50% HP and heal yourself up, it doesn't matter how much, like 10%, 20%, it doesn't matter, you get that boost. So you probably want to see the boost in action, so we get right into it. So as you can see, we took a bit of damage and now we're going to heal ourselves up. In this case I'm going to use the Sensor Beam so we can restore ourselves. So we were below 50%, healed ourselves up, and now we have the Divine Zenkai buff, which means damage and defense increase by 20%. As always, numbers are subject to change, so yeah, don't take any numbers literal because they could change at any time. So that's it for the second perk. So the second thing I'm going to talk about is the Kaioken. So first off, the Kaioken has its own spot in the menu, which means you can just pick one of those and get right into it. In this case we're going to take ×2 for the sake of displaying. So as you know, the Kaioken in the public version drained health over time and did it right when you got into Kaioken. This time around it's not doing that, it works a bit different. And how it works, I'm going to explain it to you in a minute. So as you can see, I'm displaying a bunch of numbers. Take your time, pause the video, read them if you want, I'm going to explain it right after. So for Kaioken ×2 for example, you have 3 minutes without any drain happening. After that 3 minutes, HP drain will start happening. In the case of Kaioken ×2, you will lose 3 health points every second. For levels above, it will happen after more time. For example, Kaioken ×10 will start draining HP after 1 minute has passed. You're wondering, is there a way to counteract this drain? Yes, there is. There's a unique mastery system which works differently than the transformations do. In the case of Kaioken, you have certain milestones, which means if your max ki reaches milestones, for example for ×2, it requires 1250 ki max. If you reach said milestone, Kaioken will no longer drain ki. ×2 that is. If you have, for example, 2000 ki, ×10 Kaioken will not drain anything anymore, which means those are practically free buffs. Like the public version, Kaioken still has a exhaust debuff, which means if you use Kaioken in bursts, you will have less of a debuff than if you keep it up the entire time. So if you want to dodge enemies, you can use it so you get a speed buff, or you can use it to get a defense buff and tank an attack if you want. Now after we deactivated the Kaioken, you can see that the Kaioken strain buff applies, which means you can no longer use the Kaioken until it's over. So guys, that was it for the devlog. I hope you enjoyed and thanks for watching.